On days 5 and 6 of the race, I was dry heaving. On the final day of the race, I was literally vomiting before the start of the race. And of course, at this point, I have so much determination to just be like, I'm gonna get through this. We're in first place. I need to finish what I started. I have to finish this.
You are listening to Feminine Will, powered by Sweatseat. I'm Andrea McKee. This is a show about women who choose athleticism, adventure, and bravery every day. Thanks for listening. How are you doing during quarantining, during stay-at-home orders, during homeschooling your kids right now, or working from home with you and your husband, or you and your kids, or just you and your dog? How are you doing with all those things? Please send me a message. Let me know how you're doing, and I would love to share with others. If you have a tip or something that's working really well for you, please send me an email, andrea@sweatseat.com. And while we're at it, sweatseat.com is our sponsor. I invented Sweatseat. It is a seat cover, vehicle seat cover, the first one made for women by women, aka me. Running is my go-to exercise, and I love to go to different trails and other places besides starting from home to go running. And when I do that, that means I have to get in my car and go home. And I do not like sitting in my car when I'm sweaty, mostly because the thought of sitting on that sweat dried later doesn't really entice me. I don't like the idea of it. I don't like having to carry a bulky towel. I used to do it all the time. I thought it looked ugly in my car, and I didn't want to see it. I wanted to have something that protected my seat, but that I didn't have to look at it when I wasn't actually using it, and that I could wash it. What I was finding on the market was that they were made of either material that didn't absorb or material that did absorb that you couldn't really just take off and wash in the wash machine. Or if you did, it was going to be a hassle, like buckles, clips, snaps, all the things that make life frustrating or that it was going to be ugly. And I don't like ugly. I just want something simple and minimalist but that does the trick. So I designed Sweatseat, and for 7 months, I iterated the design, trying to make it into something that was just simple, slip on, slip off. It was compact and small enough that it could fit in your car door, and that you could just throw it in the washing machine when you weren't using it. You could also just store it somewhere that you didn't have to see it, unlike a towel. So after 7 months, I finally launched my online platform, and that was beginning of October. And since then, I've got 2 designs. The first one is called the Classic, and it's pretty much just a very simple design that is good for any gender. And then the Swexy is geared more toward women because I wanted something cute, and I love the look of those cute like sports bras that are pretty strappy in the back. And so I made something very similar to those so that it looked and felt like your sportswear, and that you could just wash it in the washing machine with your sportswear. It's good for 300 plus washings. That means it's going to last you. So you get a new pair of shoes, and you're going to need another new pair of shoes in 3 to 5 months. With this is good for a very long time. We also offer a repair service. None of our customers have needed to use it at this point, but we have it available. So if something happens to it, we are all about not wasting, instead fixing, repairing, and reusing. So if you end up needing a repair at some point in its future in the future life of your Sweatseat or Swexy, then you just send it in to us for a flat fee, and we repair it for you and send it back to you. We are all about reducing our carbon footprint and our waste. So if you're planning on getting sweaty or going swimming this summer or the spring or whatever, I know the gyms are closed, but if you're planning on working out and using your car, then visit sweatseat.com, sweetseat.com. Hello and welcome back to Feminine Will. Today on the show, I have Margaret Spring, and I'm really excited to have her back because she was the second episode on Feminine Will. And a lot of people have had questions about her actual experience going from running a marathon to running 100+ mile trail race. So I said, you know what, because I've had so many people asking, well, how did she do it? I don't feel like I got to hear that part of that experience and like how, because I know people who've run marathons. I've run a marathon myself. I can't imagine thinking after I ran that marathon, okay, now I'm going to do like a 120-mile race. And so a lot of people have been saying, like, I just want to know, like, what did that look like for her? Was it like nutritionally? What did it look like for her physically? How much running was she doing? So here she is back on the show, and she's going to give us insights into that. I'm going to go ahead and test out listening to your side of things. So go ahead and just tell me something that you did today.
Ooh, so I went for a sunrise hike with my husband. Well, it was really a walk around the lake with my husband and my dog Popcorn, which was so beautiful.
Ah, that sounds amazing. Margaret, it's so nice to have you back on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me back, Andrea. This is awesome.
Yeah, I've had people asking me questions about your episode saying, like, how did she go from 26.2 to 100+? And I realized that was kind of something we didn't touch on as much as it sounds like the people wanted to hear. So I wanted to bring you back on so that we could hear a little bit more of that journey and about your experiences with that. So without further ado, let's dive into, okay, you're running your was it your first marathon, or was it like multiple marathons you had done before you decided to do then the like 100+?
Yeah, so I had done 3 road marathons previously, and then I've done 1 trail marathon. And running trails at a marathon distance is a completely different beast. It takes a lot more time because of the elevation gain and just the variations in terrain.
And what was that experience like for you?
Well, I had to get comfortable with the fact that time and pace were going to look completely different for me. And things like, I'm going to be hiking up large hills, whereas in a road marathon, you're going pretty all out pace-wise, and I didn't have any walking with the exception of maybe through an aid station or 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a totally different beast. So it was like, okay, I'm just going to expect that I'm going to be walking or power hiking during this race.
So you must have enjoyed the marathon distance to even do 4 of them.
Well, yeah, kind of. It actually was kind of wacky. For years and years and years, I was like, I will never do a marathon. That's so long. Why in the name of hamburgers would anybody ever want to do that distance? So I kind of had sworn off that distance. And then one fall, I just had some hardships in life. And I was like, you know what? If I can walk through this, then I can do a marathon distance. Like, why not give it a shot?
Oh,
So,
yeah,
it was overwhelming for sure, just thinking about 26.2 miles.
And so what had you been doing distance-wise before that?
Usually just half marathon distance, yeah.
And you'd done several half marathons before you decided to do a marathon?
Yeah, probably, I would say 5 or 6 half marathons.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, I guess for me, like, I had done, I think, 3 before I decided to do a marathon, and then 3 half marathons. And then after I did a marathon, I was like, it was in 30-mile-an-hour headwinds, and it was raining, and I was like, I think I'm good. I don't think I was like, I don't know if I want to do this again, but I don't know, because I do think that sometimes we have experiences in life that kind of help us say, well, maybe I do want to do something really hard right now. And maybe I can
Yeah.
do that. So I think that's really cool that you're like, okay, well, I went through these hardships, or like I went through these hardships. And so if I could do those, then I can do this. And it was like almost a challenge for you. So how did you, like, was there anybody else you were training with, or was it just you saying, I want to do this?
It was just me saying I wanted to do it. So I had decided in November that I wanted to run my first marathon, and I picked a race, which was in May. And not only did I say, hey, I want to run my first marathon, but I want to run my first marathon and qualify for Boston.
Wow. Is that because, had you been doing well in your half marathons?
I mean, not really. Like I think at that point in time, I won't say like not well, but I
Right, but
think
just maybe.
I was running a 1:52
Okay.
half marathon.
Okay.
And so kind of a reach to be like, oh, I'm going to double this and then take off this much time.
Yeah, that's a pretty, that's like really impressive that you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to qualify for Boston. That is impressive. I don't even think I knew that you could qualify for Boston when I first did my my marathon. I didn't even know what that was at the time.
Yeah.
But I guess that was like in 2011. I don't remember how big of a deal it was back then. But
yeah, so I just trained by myself. I basically went out on a bunch of solo runs and listened to podcasts and music and ate so many Snickers bars during my training. It was amazing.
I just think it's so funny how much you love sugar.
I love sugar.
I mean, I love sugar
I
too. I just love how much you love candy. It cracks me up. So you had so many Snickers bars, and how did you come up with your training plans? Did you go online and look? Like, what year was this that you did your first marathon?
Ooh, I am horrible with
Okay.
years, but I think it was probably 5 years ago now
Okay.
that I did it. And so that's the other thing is my training program, or maybe, yeah, 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, my training program was, I had no idea what I was doing, like literally no idea. And I don't think I did any speed work working up to the race. I was more just consistent runs I think I did probably like 50 to 55 mile weeks max, and just went out and ran. Even though I ran, even though I ran track and cross country in high school, I didn't think at all about speed or pace. I was just like, well, I'm just gonna run and see where this gets me.
Yeah.
So I think I used probably Hal Higdon's, like a skeleton of Hal Higdon's plan, but without speed, just in terms of looking at the long runs and seeing what I needed to do for that to build up for my first marathon.
Okay, but were you like timing yourself just to see, okay, how long did this 6-mile run take me? And then think, okay, next time I'm going to try to go a little faster kind of thing? Because that's what I did back then. I just would say, okay, well, this 6-mile run took me this long, and next time I'm going to try to have it take me this long. And I would just check my watch and see how I was doing along the way. How did you do it?
So I don't really remember keeping track of any times or going for that, with the exception of one run where I was like, I can totally do this. And I went out and did a 17-mile run, and I got under 2 hours or something. And I was like, oh, I can do this.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, this is within reach for me. So.
And how did that first marathon go?
It went well. Yeah, it went really well. I ran the Colfax Marathon in Denver, and it was super beautiful day. I was really smart in terms of pace, so I did talk through with somebody about what my pace should be and not to go out too hard too fast. So I think I did it in maybe 3:35 or something.
Wow, that's incredible. And
Yeah.
so that you qualified for Boston.
So I qualified for Boston. I was like, oh yeah.
Because what was the qualifying time? Like what was the time limit qualifying time limit?
Yeah, at that time it was 3:40. So I just
Okay, so
kind of
you
snuck under.
wow, that's incredible. So did you go and run the Boston? Like I know they
Yeah.
yeah, and how did that go?
It was an experience. So something I've done once but don't necessarily need to do again, more so for the fact that it was like super crowded and it's a long day, and um, it was just one of those things where it's like I want to run it. The crowds were amazing, but
Mm-hmm.
then I was like I've done that
Yeah,
and
cool.
now I'm good.
Yeah.
So
So then you did a few more marathons before you decided to and okay, and I do remember from our conversation that you did a marathon and the prize for it was it that trail marathon that you did and the prize for it was then to do the like a 100 miler or something, a free entry to the 100 miler.
yeah, well, not a free entry,
Oh,
but
okay.
so I did the Leadville Marathon, which was my first ever trail marathon.
Okay, and that is okay. So that's again for those who heard last time's episode with Margaret. The Leadville is the highest elevation city in the U.S.
Yeah, so I did that and I finished top 10 for women and third in my age
Nice.
group.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really fun. And so during the award ceremony, they handed out gold coins for an entry into the Leadville 100. So I still pay entrance fee, but the Leadville 100 is done by a lottery system. So placing in the race gives you an opportunity to not have to enter into the lottery. So it's a guaranteed spot in the Leadville 100.
Okay, I do remember that now. So then how did you go from marathon to was it 100 miler or 120 miler?
So I did the 120-mile 6-day stage race.
Okay. And explain what that is.
Yeah, so it's 6 days where you run back to back to back. And the longest distance, I think, was 26 miles. And the shortest distance was around 14, but with, I don't know, something wacky like 4,000 feet of vertical gain.
Wow. Wait, across the 6 days or
20,000 across the 6 days, but
wow.
some of the shorter days had some of the highest vertical or most vertical gain.
And do you start at the bottom or at the top?
Start at the bottom.
Like for the race? Does the race start at the bottom or the top of the
Oh,
mountain?
yeah. So the race goes from Buena Vista to Beaver Creek. And so there are different mountains that you kind of summit or passes that you go over
Okay.
throughout the race. So we started in the town of Minturn one day and went over to Mount of the Holy Cross, I think. So different mountain passes. We did Hope Pass, which is part of the Leadville 100. I can't remember what other mountains, but yeah. So it's just you start in one place and then you do like go over passes or mountains, and that gets you the vertical gain.
I see. Okay. So you have this 120-mile race that you are going to be prepping for. I as a very small comparison. I remember doing the Ragnar, and I remember I had like 3 legs, and they were over like I want to say like a 48-hour period. And my first was like 7 miles, my second was like 6 miles, and my third was 3 miles. And I remember by the third leg that I did, my legs were jelly, and that was only 3 miles. So now you're telling me that every day for 6 days you're going to be running like a range from 14 to 26 miles. So how did you even begin to prep for something like that?
Yeah, so basically in my training, I would have a series of runs, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where the length of the run kind of progressively got longer. And so it was back to back to back long runs. And so I think it would be something like 8, 16, and 20 over the period of a weekend. So just kind of working on that cumulative exhaustion.
Okay. When you say cumulative exhaustion, can you explain that further?
Yeah, so just working on training your body to get used to those back-to-back long runs. And so basically your body kind of adapts over time. So as you're building up your mileage and ramping it up, your body's kind of like, okay, like I know I'm going to be doing these back-to-back long runs, and your body kind of, I don't know, like adjust to that training routine. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so did you hire a coach to help you with this, or was this something you decided to do on your own?
Yeah, so I had a coach that designed my program, which was really, kind. And so she was somebody that had run the Leadville 100, I think a couple times. And so she was aware that we needed to work on those back-to-back long runs to get me ready for those 6 days of adventure and fatigue.
And how did you? I want to just barely touch on this, but how did you find her?
So Randy and I had the same coach. We found her through, I think, Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a coach for lifelong endurance.
And how long ago was this? Like a year or two? Like a year after that trail marathon that you did, or a few months, or how long was it?
No, so the trail marathon that I did was this 2 months before the 120-mile race.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had decided in, I think, August, a year before I did the 120-mile race, that I was going to do it.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
And so I think probably January started building up mileage to prepare for the 120-mile run. And I never went beyond 60 or 65 miles in all my training runs.
Okay. Like 65 miles at one
65
time
miles
or a
for
week?
the week.
Okay.
For the week, yeah.
And so you were a year before the 121-mile race, you decided you wanted to do that, but it wasn't until the actual race where you did your marathon, your trail marathon, that you were guaranteed a spot, and so you're like, okay, this is really happening. But you had been training before that? Am I getting mixed up?
Oh, yeah. So the 120-mile race is different than the Leadville 100. So I did the trail marathon as a training run for the 120-mile race.
Okay.
And then at the trail marathon, when I got the golden coin, I decided I would do the 100 miles all in one day, which is going to be a whole different beast.
Okay. Wait.
So I did my trail marathon as a training run for my 120-mile race, which was in August.
Okay.
That's the 6-day stage race. I know it's kind of confusing.
I'm sorry. I'm like trying to
No,
in
that's
my
okay.
mind get like this timeline of, but you said that it was 2 months before your trail marathon was 2 months before your 120-mile race.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a big deal to me. So then you started training, and then you said that I remember from our last conversation that like you had a like you did well in the race, the 120-mile race, but you said that you got sick.
Oh. I was so sick, Andrea. I was so sick. Yeah, so basically on days 5 and 6 of the race, I was dry heaving. On the final day of the race, I was literally vomiting before the start of the race. And Randy went over to my husband. Randy is who I ran the 120-mile race with. And she said, Baker, I don't know if Margaret's going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
She's puking right now. And of course, at this point, I have so much determination to just be like, I'm going to get through this. We're in first place. Like, I need to finish what I started. I have to finish this.
So you said we are in first place. So that means that you were on a team?
Yeah, so Randy and I did the 120 miles together. And
you're like registered
we both
as
ran
a team?
the full thing.
Okay.
Yep, we're registered as a team.
Okay. And so you're determined to make this happen. But let me just backtrack for a second. I want to know, like, nutritionally, what was it like for those 2 months as you said that you didn't run, did I remember, you didn't run more than 65 miles a week before this 120-mile race, or you did?
No, I did not.
Okay.
My highest weekly mileage was 65.
Wow. And then you went and ran 120 miles in a week.
Right. So I basically
doubled that. Oh my goodness. That's okay. Okay. So I want to know, like, what were you eating when you were doing, the 65 miles a week? Like, were you keeping track of things? Or were you just eating whatever you felt like your body needed?
So this has kind of been one of my areas that I'm actually working on right now on improving. And so I literally was eating whatever. And I was eating just everything. Like, my training runs were Spring Energy, candy, cookies, like whatever I could get onto. And I do think, so I've been working with a dietitian recently, and looking back, I did not support my body through my nutrition in the best ways possible. So, it's, for me, it was kind of hilarious, but looking back, I'm like, wow, I really could have supported my body in a much better way and balance that out. But I'm constantly learning. And
exactly. Yep. And that's what it is that you're learning, and you're at this place now where you're like, okay, I need to do that more, because you're recognizing the need and you're recognizing that that's something that's important.
Yeah, I know. So I met with the dietitian that I'm working with, I think 2 nights ago, and she was looking over my food logs, and I really love her because her focus is to have balance for me. So she knows I love sugar, and she was like, Margaret, I'm not going to have you stop doing that, but we need to kind of supplement that. And so looking at my protein intake, I think I was only getting about 60% of what I need for my protein intake. And with the high mileage that I'm going to be working towards, like, I'm just not supporting my body in the best way possible. So I think the best thing she said to me was, she was like, for example, like, you want your most stuffed Oreos. That's great. He was like, maybe what we could do is have you make a smoothie at night where you use like ice cream and Greek yogurt and milk and then throw in a couple Oreos. I was like, done. We're ready.
That's awesome. So you're getting your protein, you're getting your sugar.
Yes, it's so good. So I do really feel as if nutrition is super important, and it's something that previously I've not done well, and I'm learning, and it's important to me that people are aware that you can't just eat whatever, that you have to look at your nutrition and support your body in the ways that it needs to be supported to be able to do those distances.
And when it came to running the race, how did you support your body? Like, did you kind of just bring snacks that were normal to you? And when you were doing the 6 days, like, how did you sort through that? And did your running partner have a similar outlook, or do you think she had done things differently nutritionally?
So we picked a theme for every day in terms of we wanted it to be joyful. So every day we chose something that we could look forward to eating, and so we made these power packs, which was basically a bunch of candy. So we picked one candy for every day, and then on the final day we mix them all together. So one day we had high chews, one day we had gummy worms, we had circus animal cookies, we had Skittles because they're a favorite, we had high chews and something else I can't remember. And then we also did spring energy as a food, and at the rest stops, or whatever they're called, aid stations, not rest stops, we drink Coke and ate chips. And but I will tell you that eating was so hard for me that I didn't get in what I needed to be getting in. I remember the last 2 days, I think total over those 46 miles, I maybe was able to eat like 2 spring energies and a couple chips and some Coke.
Do you think that it's because you really were just pushing your body more than it had been pushed before, and coupled with the lack of like proper nutrition? Do you think that was related to why?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. I think that was part of it. I was also playing around with, taking iron supplements, taking vitamin D supplements, and then I do an antidepressant. And so figuring out the timing of all those when my body was under such stress and not getting like the nutrition that it needed, I think also just added to that stress on my body and stomach upset.
Mm-hmm.
And also during the nights, we would just eat, like literally gorge ourselves with food, and it wasn't enjoyable. It was like, we have to eat this because we're like replenishing from today and then trying to like store up for what we're gonna perform tomorrow. So I remember Randy and I just looking across each other at the table, like just so nauseous, and continuing to eat and being like, well, we gotta have energy for our bodies for tomorrow.
So maybe I would ask, if you were to do a race like that again, how would you do it differently now?
Yeah, I would have my nutrition a lot better lined up. And so the dietitian that I'm working with was and I don't really understand this, like the science behind it, but was talking about glucose and fructose and sucrose and how those are metabolized in the body, like specifically during activities, and that can lead to stomach upset. So she's given me some options for like real food that balances those different I don't know, categories or whatever they're called, things. And so these next several months, I'm going to be working towards that. And then we also are coming up with plans in place to support, like, how do I fuel after my activity to replenish the nutrients that my body needs. So that's what I would do differently. I would take my nutrition a little bit more seriously and really look at what my body needs to restore and recover, and then playing around with those during the race things to hopefully not have as much stomach upset.
Awesome. I love hearing that because we all go through times in our lives where we learn certain things that kind of help us move forward in a way that is different and better for us. So that's exciting. I love that you're working with a nutritionist right now, and are you finding that it's helping?
Yeah, I mean, she just gave me the plan this week, but
Oh, okay. So it's brand new.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be doing it and already starting to implement some of the things that she had recommended. So I'm excited to see where it takes me.
Very cool. So tell us how the race ended. So you're puking that morning of the last day, and actually give us, like, do you remember any part of like the run itself, like what you were thinking during those 6 days?
Yeah, so I think I mentioned in my previous podcast with you that we were running for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
That's right.
Yeah, and so every day Randy and I picked a color to represent a child that we knew for that day. And on the final day, we were dressed all in yellow, and yellow or gold is the color for childhood cancer. And so we were running for all these kids with childhood cancer, just to bring awareness to that. So,
and that's because you know somebody who had that or has it, right?
yeah, yep, my ring bearer, and then this little girl, Taylor, who passed away February 13th.
I'm
So
sorry.
just a little over a year ago. So she was one of the kiddos that we ran for as well. We wore pink on her day. That was that was the
that's so
start of the
sweet.
race. Yeah, and so Randy and I started off on the run, and I just remember her. I mean, she was so great. She was so supportive during the entire thing. I'm so thankful I had her. And she was like, I would just look back and you would be like dry heaving. So
Man.
I think probably, I don't know, probably the first 15 miles, I literally felt like death, and I would be like, oh, I need to stop, hold on. And at one point she was like, Margaret. I'm like, yes, Randy. She's like, you need to settle it down. Like, we're in first place. We have plenty of cushion. And I was like, no, I got this. But it also gave me that little bit of like, we got it, and I can chill out and take the pressure off.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys were in first place. How many participants were there?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter. What?
Yeah.
So did you guys, like, how did it end? And were you saying like the first 15 miles of the race or of each day or of the last day?
So of the last day,
Okay.
the first 15 miles, I was like dry heaving, and I mean, there's a picture of me where it's like I literally look like death. Like,
Oh man. I feel
it's
like
so
you need to
bad.
send that to me so that I can put
I
that
will
on.
send that to you and you will
Okay.
be like, oh, this is bad.
Can I post it?
You can.
Okay.
What you can say what 100 and like whatever 15 miles in looks like. I mean, it was bad, but it's the reality of it. So,
Yeah. And so how did you guys finish it?
I oh, okay. So I think we got midway up or so many miles in, and this guy stopped us and was taking videos for the race and asked us about our outfits or something. And we were talking about we were running for this cause, and I think at that point were we were just committed to like completing it, and so we found different ways to have joy in the process and talk about the kids that inspired us, and it really lightened everything up. And the best, so the best part of all of it was we ran down the hill, and several of our friends were waiting at the finish line. And at the finish line, my husband FaceTimed my little pal Connor, who was at home because his immune system is so low. And Connor got to virtually cross the finish line with us,
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah, it was literally the best ever. So that's how we finished.
Oh, so it was first place with Connor?
First place with Connor, and
That's so sweet.
super fun. I had put a lot of pressure on myself. I was like, well, we need to get first place every day because then we can give our medals to the kids. So that's what we did. We got first place in every stage of the race, and our medals went to the different kids that we were running for.
Wow.
And yeah, in one instance, one of the kids' brothers. So.
Wow, so that was quite the motivation for you then. I mean, what a beautiful thing to motivate you.
It really was. I was like, they're the real heroes and winners with this battle. So it was such a gift to be able to do that.
I bet it was. Are there any other lessons or feelings that you have from that race that really taught you something meaningful that you've carried with you since?
Definitely gratitude, and the practice of gratitude can really change how you're feeling. I know one of the days Randy and I, every mile, we switched off talking about a person that we were thankful for and why. And we did that on the day that was Randy's longest run ever of her life. And we had started out the run and we're like, oh, what? Like, how are we going to get through this? Like, how are we possibly going to do this today? I think it was day 3. And I was like, Randy, I think we should just every mile pick somebody that we're thankful for. So we got to talk about our family and friends the entire run, and it really made all the difference to use like this practice of gratitude for people rather than focus on the suffer fest that we were in the midst of.
That was the continuing story of Margaret Spring. I loved hearing deeper parts of that story and understanding more about what she went through and what she did and how she's changed along the way. If you know of somebody who has a story of adventure or of bravery that they experienced that would be good on this podcast, please send me an email, andrea@sweatseat.com. Quick word from our sponsor, Kia Peak. Kia Peak is a visor hat hybrid designed especially for women, giving us as women the comfort, style, and hair options we need. So if you want a top knot, you want to put your hair in a knot on top of your head, you want to wear a visor, and you don't want it to be ugly, and you don't want it to look old school or like you're not your age, then you probably want to go check out Kia Peak Top Knot trucker visors because they are super cute. I have 2 of them and I use them all the time. I use one of them literally every time I run, and the other one I use when I'm outside and I want to put my hair up. I want like a cute hat, but I don't want my head to be hot. So go check it out, kiapeak.com, KEAPEAK.com. If you know someone who would love this episode, please share it. Tell them about Feminine Will, and please make sure that you are subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. Please follow us on social media, Feminine Will Podcast, on both Facebook and Instagram. I'll see you next Monday.